Already. Okay, so I'm recording this Zoom seminar, and this is talking about win without burnout in the year of the fire horse. Win without burnout in Chinese is called 不内耗的胜利. Of course, this translation is not exactly word by word. So I've been doing training coaching for more than 26 years, full time since the year 2001, and I have already came up with many courses. So these courses that I have are all conducted to real life people, and they are not funded, meaning that they are not SkillsFuture funded. I have a few programs that are SkillsFuture funded, parked under this ATO called RCN. So I also have a Love Intelligence community group. If you're interested, I can send you the link. You can join. There are 3,000 plus people inside there. So these are the 10 manual books that I have created over the years, and they are all part of my courses. So the latest one is the Chinese book, which is actually for a Chinese course. So we are going to cover these few topics. First is what exactly does it mean about fire horse here? And when we talk about burnout, what are the causes? And what is the solution? And the solution lies in three concepts. One is Yijing, the other is the Sun Tzu Art of War, and third is the Love Intelligence. And lastly, of course, is your action plan, which shall end in about 1 hour's time. So to begin with, I often tell this to my participants. Firstly, I thank you for your attendance, and I invite you to have the courage to try out the new ideas as presented here. Important thing is that we need to do something to transform ourselves. No point that we actually learn this, learn that. I've seen many people, they sign up for this course, go for this talk, that talk, and after many years, they are still the same. So to me, if you attend any training, there are only two reasons. First reason is that you are able to use it, and the other reason is that you are able to teach it. So if you attend because it is free or it's funded by the government and because there's free food, and it's okay to have those reasons, but more importantly is your time is more precious. I believe everybody's time is very precious lah, huh? So even though it's free, but it's not free because your time is actually has some value, right? I'm not sure whether you know what I mean by your time has some value, because some people will say I have a fixed salary. I'm not sure, are you on the fixed salary or are you actually self-employed? People that are on a fixed salary would think that their time is free, so it's okay that I waste 1 hour, 2 hours, 1 day, 2 days, 3 days, it's fine. So they may not understand their time is valuable. So hopefully from this course, you're able to build new connections to your own wisdom and connection with the people. So Fire Horse will start on the 4th of February because that is the Li Chun. The Chinese New Year will start on the 17th. But all these zodiac animals, they actually start on the Li Chun, which every year is the same. It's always on the 4th of February, regardless of the lunar calendar. So that's the beauty of the Chinese calendar. They use both solar and lunar calendar. The lunar calendar is always slower than the solar calendar, but on certain dates, the dates are fixed. For example, the Qingming is on the 4th of April, and Li Chun is on the 5th of February. And this is within the 20-year cycle called the Li Fire, Li Huo Jiu Yun, which started in 2024, 4th of February, and all the way will end in 2044, 3rd of February. So I'm not sure, are you aware that we are into this Li Huo Jiu Yun thing? And within these 20 years of Li Fire, and this year, we have this Fire Horse here. So Fire Horse, what is Fire Horse? First, we look at fire. When we look at fire, the first thing is that it is something very fast, right? And we know the fire, once started, very difficult to stop. Even if you use water, fire will not be extinguished so fast. And there's always an urgency. And with fire, people do get burnt easily. So in the Fire Horse here, there'll be lots of people being burnt out. And horse, the animal horse is a very fast animal. We're talking about the real horses out in the grassland. I'm not talking about the horse in Singapore Zoo. So horses cannot be controlled and very restless. So you put the two together, that means this year is a year of lots of movement, lots of restlessness. Many people will be running about and they'll be very busy. And if you are fast enough, because this year will be a fast year, if you're fast enough with a quick decision, you may be able to benefit. But then if you make a fast decision and it is not a right decision, or you are reckless, then you'll be punished severely. These are all from the zodiac reading of this fire horse year. So when it is such a year, many people would want to catch up by doing more. So they work harder. They will also want to put in more effort, work longer hours, and set more goals. We all know when you set goals, it may not actually help you to achieve the goals. Some people will say, yeah, no, I set goals, it helps me. Understand that it is the thinking that helps you. When you set goals, you are actually having the thinking of achieving something, and you're setting your intention. It is the thinking that and intention that helps you, not the goal setting itself. In fact, according to Lao Tzu, goal setting actually results in no achievements. Especially many detailed goals and many KPIs, they are usually not achieved. So what if you put in more time, more pushing here and there, you will end up with burnout. And this is something that already happening. You see some people get very hot temper. For example, over the 9-something Yong Tau Fu, at the store get very angry about people saying nasty things. That's also a sign of burnout. And then the guy who wrote a very nasty comment is also burnt out. Because when you're burnt out, you are looking at things from a very emotional point of view. Whether you like it or don't like it. Don't like it, then be very harsh. So all these are not objective. All these are minus things. They are signs of burnout. So burnout is basically people are fighting and they're all using the wrong energy. So for example, the guy who wrote the critic of the 9-something Yong Tau Fu is using wrong energy. 9-something you say is expensive, but then you pick 11 items. It's basically this person put the energy into something that is not there. So put in wrong energy lah. And then if this person got so much energy, don't know where to go, it's better that this person just go and enjoy himself instead of just go and create trouble. So many people do not know they are actually suffering from burnout. It's not just hot temper. Yeah, wrong focus, you're right. They focus on the wrong things. And the professionals, the people who are actually very responsible will be the high-risk groups because they often feel that they must do this, do that. And a lot of times, it is the thinking that is important, not the doing. And also, when you think, you come up with a strategy. That's why people say, what is strategy? Strategy starts from thinking. You cannot have a strategy without thinking. Thinking is the hardest thing in the world. Most people would rather die than think. They would prefer to adopt other people's thinking. That's called living a second-hand life. Like some people would tell you, would think for you. They say, I care for you. And they actually take away your thinking. And that is actually one of the worst things to ever happen. So when you do not have a strategy, you become like what the Sun Tzu said in the Art of War. Sun Tzu Pingfa, he said that when you have no strategy, you don't have tactics, it's the noise before defeat. In other words, you just do a lot of things, but there's no strategy, there's no thinking behind it. You just like follow the crowd. Basically, you'll be defeated, but before you get defeated, you have a lot of fanfare, a lot of noise, appear you're winning. A good example is some people, they keep on chasing after the latest IT, the latest AI tools. They will try this, try that, and keep on telling people, I use AI, do this, do that. These are all called tactics. The question is, what's the purpose of doing all these things? Oh, just for fun. Okay, just for fun is okay. But then, make fun of yourself, not make fun of other people. Do not take another person's photo and then turn it into something funny and say, oh, so people are very clever. That is actually insult. So anyway, such people, they are actually doing very unwise things without realizing. And then when you have the strategy, you have the thinking, but you also need to have the tactics. Otherwise, it will be a long road to victory, or maybe even no victory. For example, right, you have the strategy. You want to, this year, you want to make money from the happenings. Like if there's a stock market crash, you want to make money. So, of course, the tactic is that you need to buy low, right? When the stock plunge you need to buy. And to do that, you need to have some tools. How do you watch? That kind of things. If you don't have, then just based on your hunch feeling this stock has fallen enough, then that is actually, you may still win because at least you have a strategy. But then it is a very slow route to victory. So the important thing is to claim your mind, claim the power of your mind. Many people are so busy. So this short video will actually show us.
这虎口大一点不就好了吗？啊！
虎口再大，你也打不中。
投壶是文人雅士行酒令的游戏，我们正在打硬仗，没有这种雅兴。都督，你怎么能投得这么准呢？
专注。当敌人越张狂的时候，就要更加专注。有专注力的人能用小石头砸死一个巨人。
So that's the important thing. We need to understand that we are not our mind. We as a person, I as a person, and my mind are actually two different things. Sometimes when you actually get hooked swiping those videos, TikTok videos, you are actually giving away your mind. You let the TikTok controls you. And then if you watch something bad, sad, then you cry. And then, I mean, you cry for the moment, it's okay. But then if you cry, that affects your life, affects your work. That means you have already lost your mind. And then some people feel demotivated, feel devastated. And some people are very interested in all the small news. So the mind is really out of focus. And then they get very badly influenced by those things. Basically, they are not having the power of the mind. So first thing, in order to avoid burnout in this fire horse here, is to reclaim the power of your mind. You need to claim back. How do you claim back the power of mind? So I recall when I was working in allied catalysis, that was in the 90s until 2001. I was a head of finance and human resource. And we are in the manufacturing, in the electronics industry, computer networking equipment. Things happen very fast. And some people, you see them high flyer today, tomorrow they are gone. So I personally have set quite a number of people. Some of them we set by giving notice, some actually no notice. They come to the office at 8:30, realize computer cannot log in, so they go to IT, and then IT will say you will no longer have the access. And then they will wonder why. So they will call the HR department. HR department will say, yeah, please come in, and then they are told that they have to leave. But then they said that today you don't need to, I mean today you never work, but today you still get paid. That's the consolation. So in order to survive, we need to survive first before we talk about doing well in such high-speed environment. So I think this 2026 is something like that, like going back to 1997, 98. Things happen so fast that if you do not have any strategy, you will actually die very easily. Purpose of having this Zoom seminar is to hope that people will not die, will actually survive and even thrive. So like when I do my training and then coaching, people will tell me these kind of stories. Like this manager will tell me, actually my team members, they're very obedient. But somehow they just don't open up to me anymore. So I look at him, he's very respected in the office. And at home I also consider quite a happy family. But then basically, if you probe further, really, you will share that actually never really talk at home, and it's basically avoided at home. Welcome, Vincent. Vincent, yeah, just join in. So the story of this manager is basically looks successful outside, have a well-paying job, but internally is very stressed, a lot of burnout, and the marriage is very functional. You know, marriage and love, such things cannot be functional. If they're functional, that means there is no love. And he got very exhausted, so he's telling me, Andy, what should I do? And then he said that I feel like I want to 躺平, you know, 躺平? That means lay down, 躺平. In China, it's a very common phrase. People like to 躺平. And I told him that's the most correct thing to do. If you're exhausted, you're having burnt out, then the first thing you need to do is to really lay down. 躺平. I told him lay, not lie down, not L-I-E, but lay down. Why lay down? Because lay is one of our oldest Asian philosophies. LAY stands for Love, Intelligence, Art of War, and Yijing. So I have 3 different courses. Each is a 1-day course. For example, the Art of War, 1-day course, the fee is $680 at Aventis. And another company is cheaper, $560. But anyway, 3 courses add together $1,600. So today, you are actually having the gist of these 3 courses in a very free seminar. So Lay is actually a philosophy. So it's from, I also have 3 books on this: Love, Intelligence, and the Win Without Fighting with the Sun Tzu, Art of War, and Yijing Explained, 2025 edition. So by the way, these 3 books all came out in 2025. Love, Intelligence is actually 2026. But anyway, the key thing is that Lay, L-A-Y, will give you the solution. So L-A-Y, the Y is the Yijing. So let's start from Yijing. So I'm not sure whether you guys know what is Yijing. Yijing, this is the Hanyu Pinyin. The old name is called I Ching. We want to follow China's way, Pinyin way, and not I Ching, because that's the old pronunciation. No? Anyway, Yijing is not a religion and not a superstition. I'm not sure whether Vincent and Johnny here would think that Yijing is a religion. I got people telling me that I cannot read your book Yijing because I'm a Christian, and that kind of things they will say. So very good. Our people here are very wise. Firstly, it is not a religion because it's never defined in any of the religions. This is something that is a basic fact. It's pure facts. There's nothing to argue about. When you don't agree to the fact, it's okay. But then when we argue, we are usually arguing about different opinions, not about facts, right? If we argue about facts, that means someone must have the wrong understanding of facts or the wrong interpretation. In that case, there's nothing to argue about. If you argue about opinion, there's also nothing to argue about because everybody has their own opinion. In other words, in this world, there's no need to argue. When people are arguing, they are actually trying to show they are superior or they are trying to scold people. So this is the meaning of arguing. If you understand this concept, you realize that when someone argues with you, the person is actually not arguing with you. The person is trying to be superior to you. So Yijing is an observation of nature. It has been around for more than 7,000 years. And Yijing is represented by the symbols. We call it the Gua and also the philosophy. People often ask, who wrote Yijing? Many hundreds of people wrote Yijing over the last 7,000 years. But let me just focus on 3 main authors. The first author is Fu Xi, who created the Tai Chi diagram and the Ba Gua. The next author, Fu Xi, lived 7,000 years ago. The next person is the Zhou Wenwang, who lived 3,000 years ago. He created the 64 hexagram. And the third person is Confucius, who lived 2,500 years ago. He wrote the Yi Zhuan. So Yijing is made up of 80% text, 20% diagrams. So the diagrams is only 20%. The text is a lot, 80%. And the main author of the text is Kongzi. Confucius never write any books. 论语 are not books written by him. 论语 are just collection of lecture notes by him and also he and his disciples. Confucius wrote the Yi Zhuan, so-called the text in the Yijing. So Yijing is talking about patterns, and we are in the fire year, so we have the 5 elements: light, 水火土木金, fire. So fire also means emotions. Emotions rise very fast, and mistakes are exposed very quickly. So for example, last time without this fire year, if you do something funny, then maybe you can just bluff your way through because people don't know. But in this fire year, everything is under scrutiny, whether it's big or small. So for example, if you're careless, you put the thing outside there, it may be stolen, but last time maybe not. So this is because of the fire will make people observe more things and also make people more hot. So there's something important. So next time when you queue at the hawker center and people are getting impatient, understand it's all because of the fire year. So Yijing is telling us that the world changed. So Yijing is telling us what to do when the world changed. So when things happen so fast, Yijing is about change, right? Happen so fast. A good way to handle the fast changes is actually no change, no action. So we can call it stability. It's just like the Coca-Cola. They lost the cola war in the late 70s and 80s in USA. So Coca-Cola changed its taste to be more like Pepsi, a little bit sweeter, and they launched the new Coke. They call it New Coke. And then it was a backlash and people don't like it. So after 3 years, they relaunched the old Coke and call it Coke Classic. So today you go to USA, you can find Coke Classic. But outside USA, you cannot find. Because outside USA, they never launched a new product. So it was only in USA then they launched a Coke Classic. Anyway, Coca-Cola realized that the way to handle the big change is not to change. So they go back to the old taste, but to make it a bit more nostalgic. So they call it Coca-Cola Classic. Do you know this is one of the best branding in the world? The word classic simply brings people back to the values. So this is a very good example of Yijing. When things change so fast, the biggest weapon is actually stability. So in case people wonder, what's the main concept of Yijing? Yijing main concept is yin and yang. Yin is made up of 2 broken lines and yang is made up of 1 unbroken line. So remember, yin is not moving, yang is moving. Okay? So the whole world is by yin yang. You all know about that, right? The things that we're using today, whether it is Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, or mobile data, they are all using binary codes. Binary codes are expressions of yin yang. Yang is 1, yin is 0. Again, this is not something I say, you say. This is something that got historical facts. In the late 18th century, Qianlong Emperor from the Qing dynasty gave many things, many books to the Europeans. So the German took the Yijing and came up with the binary code 1 and 0. The British took the Sun the Pingfa and turned it into the ISO 9000 system. This is something that you can trace. But anyway, yin yang, the word is about yin yang, and there needs to be a balance of moving, not moving. So if you look at the chopstick, I hope you all can look at the screen. Let me just stop sharing. If you can look at, this is not a chopstick, but anyway, it looks like chopstick. Look at the chopstick. In order to grab the food, only one stick can be moving. So it's the moving one is called yang, the non-moving is yin. Cannot be both moving. Both moving, you cannot grab anything. So the chopstick is for grabbing food, right? Only one moving, so I move one only, I can grab the food, right? And some people say chopstick not hygienic. Chopsticks are the most hygienic thing in the world. Because it's for you to grab the food and put the food inside your mouth. It's not for your mouth to touch the chopstick. If your mouth or your saliva never touch the chopstick, how can this be not hygienic? It is like you use the glove to handle the food. The food never go inside. I mean, your glove never touch your mouth, right? We wear gloves, we say hygienic. The chopstick, we say not hygienic. Then the Chinese will say must have the gong kuai, the common chopstick, which is a whole lot of nonsense. It just proves that people don't understand how to use chopstick. It's actually for you to grab the food. And the chopstick is basically the yin yang. So simple. Only one is moving. So if both are moving, you cannot get anything done. So in Yijing, yin yang, yin yang must work well with each other. So in business, when a lot of people are overreacting, rushing here and then you must use the yin. Observe more, listen more. In the workplace, yin is about reflection. Yang is about action. So many times people think that must have action to look busy, but actually you need to have a balance of action and no action. And then in the family, when there are quarrels, it's all about yin-yang imbalance. And just a physical presence is already yin. So in yin and yang, which one is more powerful? What do you think? Let me ask. Vincent, which do you think is more powerful, yin or yang? You can speak or you can type in the Zoom chat room. How about Johnny? Johnny, you like to type because you say your mic cannot work. So you have to type. Which is more powerful, yin or yang? Yang. Okay, Johnny. How about Vincent? Which is more powerful, yin or yang? Which is more sustainable, in other words. Powerful also means it's sustainable, right? That means you can do big things. And we all know yin is more powerful. Yin is soft. In fact, anything hard is dead. If you look at your own body, if your body is soft and supple, that means you are still alive. You look at the dead bodies, they're all very hard, right? Then a person with pain, they need to go for twin, their body is very hard. And then the water is the softest thing in the world. Water cannot be destroyed, just changes form. So water is actually, very powerful because it is soft. So yin is more powerful than yang. So yin represents woman, man is represented by yang. So woman is more powerful than man. Anybody disagree with this statement? Because they somehow cannot understand. Because what I'm saying could be quite different from what their usual thinking. Woman is always more powerful than man. Why? Who can explain to me why? I mean, first reason is woman lives longer, and second reason is woman can give birth to men. Men cannot give birth to women, right? So we are in the Li fire period, 20 years, and is women's period. So women will be more powerful and having more control over men in this 20-year period. But not any women, only middle-aged women from the age of 35 to 55. So women as a whole will do well, but then in particular 35 to 55 will do extremely well. That's the key point. Okay, so understand that if we apply in the workplace, companies that move the fastest may not be the winners. Those who pause and think will be better. And people who work very late, like to have late night emails and that kind of thing, they're actually too much of yang already. So when teams are not productive, usually bosses would think that they need some kind of team building training. Because they say they need to understand what's team building. But actually, the team, it is not productive. The team is very productive. The team is just fearful. Instead of having love, they have fears. So yin and yang energy must be quite balancing and countering with one another. Yin alone without yang not workable. Yang without yin also not workable. So fire horse here, basically everything will become quite extreme. So we need some kind of peaceful moments. At the end of the day, Yijing gives us a sense of balance and focus on the core, which is often unseen. Most people, they like to focus on the non-core, the not important things. The core is the most important. For example, right? They are being asked to give a talk. So first thing they will ask me, Andy, what should I talk about? Well, I say you should talk about something that you are very confident about, something that the audience like to hear. So I don't know what the audience like to hear. So I say you can do some thinking, do some exploration, right? Because that's the core. So it is not, the core is not what you like to talk. Welcome Ahmad. In Singapore, we have this Hokkien word called kaki kong, kaki song. That means you yourself talk and you enjoy it very much. People never listen to you, right? So Yijing gives us a sense of balance and focus on the core. The core is the most important thing. I don't know what's your core. What's your core strengths? You guys, I don't know what is your... Maybe Ahmad just came in, can share with us. What do you think is your core strength? So Yijing tells us that we must focus on our core. Have a sense of balance. Don't because everybody do this, you also do. And those things that everybody is doing is actually not your core. You're actually wasting a lot of time. As a coach and trainer that live in the world for 63 years, I've seen too many smart people, bright people focusing on the wrong areas, and the more they focus on, the more frustrated, and in the end they just go haywire, burn out. So that's the first why, because we're talking about L-A-Y, that Y is Yijing. So the next is the A. A is of course The Art of War by Sun Tzu or Sun Tzu. Sun Tzu is English, Sun Tzu is in Pinyin. So The Art of War is written 2,500 years ago, and this is the most important concept. Victorious warrior win first, then they go to war. Whereas the lousy warriors will go to war and then try to fight to win. In other words, you don't need to fight to win. You win without fighting. That's why this is the title for my book, Win Without Fighting. I'm not sure this concept is new to you guys, win without fighting. Because everywhere I heard that people like to fight and win. They like to sing the song, 爱拼才会赢. That means must fight then can win. This is a very stupid song. Who say you must fight then you win? That's very silly. And you're going to tell anybody you must fight, then you can win. I think people don't want to fight, right? Win without fighting should be the norm. Huh? The battle should be won before it is fought. So how do you win before fighting? You have a good plan, you have the good intention, and you do the right things at the right place at the right time. So before you do anything, already won 50%. Huh? So Sun Tzu taught us that we need to the biggest battle is actually won before it's fight. So do not have prolonged conflict. Huh? Any conflict that is long is disastrous. Huh? And don't have any emotional reactions. So if somebody criticizes you, understand that they criticize you for one and only reason. They want to feel superior to you. On the other hand, if they praise you, compliment you, it's also the same thing. They want to feel superior to you. Huh? Vincent, what are you drawing? You're drawing on the line here. Please do not draw. Huh? Sometimes people do things without realizing. Huh? Okay, this is very common. This is called basically we are not aware. Not aware, then it's fine, no problem. But once you're aware, then don't do this type of things lah. Because it's it just don't make sense lah. Huh? Unless you have a specific reason, that's different story. Huh? So we often talk about winning is good, but understand that winning could be the most stupid thing ever done. Because winning will cost you a lot. And most people only share with you the winning, but never share you the losing. So to invest in anything, they'll show you the testimonials of how much returns. Understand that that is not the complete picture. In investments, people can lose, people can win. They cannot be winning all the time, right? Even Warren Buffett lost heavily in some years as well, right? So anyway, Sun Tzu already warned us that if you focus on winning and then by all means must win, then basically you are already losing. So in order to avoid burnout, if you put a lot of effort just to get the things done, then basically you're already on the wrong track. Even though if you may have won in the end, but what's the use? No use at all. So win without fighting, how does it apply in our workplace? For example, in negotiation, instead of always pushing for what you want, why not create new options and help people to save face instead of focusing on timelines? Because in negotiation, the biggest thing that people want to win is actually the face. They want to win the face and not just winning the thing. So yeah, they'll tell you they want to win the thing, but then sometimes you wonder, why are they fighting over all the small things? They just want to win face. So in leadership, when you find that someone is not performing well, we often think that there is a lack of skills, and then government says send them for skill future training. Understand that everyone is very smart in this world. If they cannot do something well, there are only two reasons. First is whether they want to do or not. And secondly, are they willing to do? Do they put the heart and soul? If they don't want to do, and also they don't want to put the heart and soul, basically they will not able to do it. No matter how you teach them, no use. They'll do it one time, two times, after that cannot be done. So I can call this an emotional fatigue. They never put the heart. Anyway, when a person do something without putting the heart into it, it's basically fatigue. And there won't be the excellence. So at home, if you win the argument, then basically you must have already lost. So that's a key point. So we all know you cannot win arguments at home. And this is not a debate. I want to win. Some people always feel that they are the smartest people. Understand that if you feel you're the smartest person or you're smarter, actually you're already more stupid than other people. Let me explain to you why. Because Sun Tzu said that win without fighting. If you think you're smart, then you must always fight to prove that you're right. You need to fight. That's already the wrong approach, is win without fighting. So on the other hand, if you are able to humble yourselves and never think you're smart and people are willing to help you, that is win without fighting, right? So Art of War gives us the strategy, and the strategy is win without fighting. So we have already seen the Y and the A. The Y is the Yijing, and Yijing talks about a balance, and the Art of War talks about strategy, and the strategy is win without fighting. So I hope you can remember these two concepts. So the next thing is the L, because we have the L-A-Y, right? L stands for what? L stands for love. So, love, many people would think love is a very soft thing, and I did this speech with the right environment, so I don't think I can redo this. That's why it's best that I just play this video, right?
My friend was asking me, Andy, at the age of 62, why are you still running about looking for business? You know very well that now AI can do everything, including delivery. They can speak 120 languages. They can deliver 24 hours. Why do people still need you? I look at him and think, when my son was young, he was very naughty. And I used to scold him. One day I went for a meditation class and they taught us to use love. So when I went back, my son's still naughty. I looked at him and with love in my heart, I just looked at him for 2 seconds. And he asked, Daddy, what's wrong? I said, nothing. I just find that you are quite funny. He said, Daddy, you're going to scold me? I said, no. I will not scold you from now onwards unless I don't have love in my heart. So the answer to my friend's question, AI can do everything. Definitely. AI can do 1,000 times better than me. But AI cannot do one thing. And that is, AI cannot make people have this love feeling. Now, I've been conducting training for more than 25 years. I know people come for my training. Some, they don't come because there's free food provided at the hotel. They don't come because it's 100% funded by the government. They don't come because for the content. They don't come because they are forced to come. They come because of one reason. Because they feel that they get love. Not love by me. I don't go there and hug people and say, I love you, right? How they get love by me? In my courses, I do 3 C's. First is to care. I care for the content. I care for the speech. That's why I prepare so much. Second, I have this thing called courage. I dare to speak my mind. And I get them to speak their mind. Even if they criticize me, it's okay. So later on, somebody feedback me, you can speak your mind. And third thing is that I always encourage them to make new connections. Connections to themselves. Connection at a deeper level. So at the end of the day, I believe AI can do things much better. But AI, I think, cannot do something as good as me. That's why I have this book called Love Intelligence. It's selling now at Amazon. One day sell about 5 to 10 copies. Totally by search. So if you're interested...
You can't get A created by AI. Huh? I know many people are very worried AI is taking over their jobs. It's not taking over your job. AI has already took over your job. I'm not sure what you're doing, but if you tell me what's your occupation, right now I can tell you straight away that your job is already being taken away. But if you tell me, Andy, I'm still having the salary job, please understand it's just a timing thing. If you are interested, you can share with me what you're doing. I'll tell you that your job's already taken over. And by when you will no longer be needed. Okay, this is not something I say. This is something said by who? You know, the Sergey, the co-founder of Google. He actually used his own Google AI plus other AI tools and describe input to the AI what are his jobs or roles, and then ask the AI, can this be done by AI, right? And the AI said that your job as a CEO of Alphabet, of Google, 80% can be done by AI. So how about the 300,000 staff in Google? Basically, some of them cannot be replaced by AI because they're doing very manual tasks. But definitely a CEO job is very simple. In case we don't know, CEO job is one of the simplest in the world, can be replaced by AI easily. So what cannot be replaced by AI? Because AI cannot really give love. Love is the one that creates money. So in case people wonder, hey, talk about love or what? Hey, I don't talk about love, please. I'm not so free to talk about anything that will not lead to money. Please remember that. Whatever I talk about, it must lead to money. So because love will build trust, and trust will have value. But why would people to pay more to buy the certain brand? Because there is trust, right? And then when they see value, how can they make money? Definitely can. Like you pay so many $1,000s to buy the Arab brand watch. You feel good, and that feeling good, you'll be wearing it for 5 years, 10 years, 20 years. Every day you feel good, your productivity increase by 1%, definitely you make more money. So in other words, when there's love, there's money. So love intelligence is love that builds trust, inspires courage, and creates value. This is actually your tool today. Because in this world, everything is automated, everything is done by AI. We need to have the trust and courage. Right? So, love, intelligence, or LQ is made up of 3 C's, as just now mentioned. Care. So first of all, to avoid burnout, you must care for yourself. You must have the energy management, knowing when to rest, when to stop. And need to know what is this boundary. Need to make sure you have a boundary. Many people have no boundary. They allow people to disturb them late at night. So for me, you can WhatsApp me, but after 11, I basically, even normal times, I look at it, they call me, I don't pick up the phone, because to me is that I pick up the phone when I think it's the right time. If I'm in the middle of something or eating or watching a TikTok video, I won't pick up the phone. Because to me, I cannot be disturbed in watching the TikTok video. It'll be wasting a lot of my time. So I have this very clear boundary, all because I care, not because I don't care. I care for the person, I care for myself. I care for the person to need to let the person know you cannot anyhow call me. So the next C is the courage. Just now said that you must have courage to say the right things. That's not aggression. It's to say the right things like, this is not sustainable, or this boundary matters. Most people have no courage. They have courage on all the silly things. But it comes to real things, they have no courage. They actually discourage themselves. What do you mean by encourage? It means I give you courage, right? Encourage you. So the biggest courage is actually the courage to say no. And the third C is the connection. Connection with yourself, with your loved ones, and with the world. Connection is influence without control. So imagine you're connected with someone. Do you need to control them? No need, right? Like your Wi-Fi is connected to the internet, right? To your phone. You don't need to control the phone, right? If there is no connection, how you control the phone? You have to do this, do that, right? So in the AI world, everything can be automated, and most skills will become minus value. So remember my words, it's not no value. Like I know how to do coding, I do programming. Understand that now your skill is minus value. That means with this skill, you cannot earn money. In fact, you will lose money. And people cannot take this statement. Minus value. The more skills you have, the more minus value. Let me explain to you why. Let's say take programming as an example, right? If you know programming and then you know the programming, you will not use AI. You would think you're smarter than AI. As a result, you lose out on using AI. That's why minus value. As compared to a blur guy that illiterate, don't know, he will use AI straight away, right? So the more you know in the AI world, the less value you have. So some people say, in that case, that means what? That means we are worthless. Yeah, we are all worse than worthless in the eyes of AI. We only be worthwhile or got value unless we got one thing, and that is we got love. We have no love, we do things like a machine. Understand the machine can do much better than you. So imagine right now if I'm conducting this Zoom seminar, I don't put emotion, I just talk like a robot. This can be done by AI, right? Why you need me to speak to you, right? So understand human trust, love cannot be replicated. So love, intelligence, the 3 C's. First care is to make people feel seen. And C, the courage is to do what's right, not easy. Connection is to move people and move hearts. So these 3, I believe, is very difficult to done by AI. Even it's done by AI, but you don't have the meat of it. Because of AI, everyone is an expert, right? So expertise straight away becomes minus value. Like my friend who is very good in doing this thing called, what they call those glamour shots, right? But do you know today, you don't need to do glamour shot. You take any photo, even in your pajamas, you use the AI, they can make it very nice and nice code. You don't even need to rent the code. Don't even need anything. All you need is AI. The lousy photo, with a lot of pimples, so this no problem, Because of this, AI can do wonders. People say, can we trust AI? So many people would rely on promise, rely on testimonials, rely on expertise. But understand that AI world, all these are minus value, especially testimonials. Many people don't understand what is testimonial. If I give you a testimonial on something, understand it is my testimonial. It may or may not be relevant to you. This is important, huh? This is not a clinical study whereby I've done, then there's a conclusion. It's not, huh? So when people, I know many people get very impressed with testimonials. Oh, this thing can do wonders, huh? Please understand that it can do wonders for that person. It may or may not do wonders for you. In fact, it may have the adverse effect on you. So if you cannot trust promise, cannot trust numbers, cannot trust anything, because everything is created by AI, what can you trust? There's only one thing you can look at, that is look at what this person have done consistently over a period of time. It's like in the courtship, right? We are all guys here. The girl will ask the guy, do I love you? The guy say, yes, I love you. That's a very stupid question to ask. The girl should not ask this question. The girl should look at what he has done over many years before even meeting her. So-called the track record. So in this regard, old people have an advantage. Young people have disadvantage. I do not know what is your age. Among the three of you, Ahmad, how old are you? Roughly, how old? Don't you tell me exact age. Ahmad, Magat, how old are you? How about Johnny and Vincent? Don't know how old. If you're old, like you're 60 and above, then congratulations, you have a big advantage over the younger people when it comes to AI. Because AI has no value except one thing called trust. Trust, of course, the longer you live in this world, there's trust, right? That's provided you are doing the right things. If you have been doing all the wrong things, then the longer you live in this world, the worse it becomes, right? So I'm assuming we are all proper people doing the right thing. So the older you are, the higher value you have when you know how to use AI. When you use AI. If you don't know AI, don't use AI, then basically you got no value lah. Simple as that, huh? So remember, when people say old people no use, understand trust is the only currency, not US dollar, not Sing dollar, not renminbi. If you want to test this statement, trust is the only currency, you later on call a friend, so-called the friends in your phone book, and ask, can I borrow $10,000 from you? And hear what is their reaction. If the response is, why? Then basically they never trust you. They are not your friend. If they ask, when do you need it? Then they are your friend. So trust is the currency, correct? But no trust, how to borrow money, right? You go to the bank, also need to have trust, right? The bank will look at your financial statement. These are so-called evidence of trust. But we know financial statements are something that can be fabricated easily. Ask any accounting student, they can create for you, right? There's no magic in this thing. Long before AI came about, people have been cheating. Long ago, many thousand years ago, people are already cheating already, right? So cheating or scams is not in the modern world. 10,000 years ago, people already cheating already. The animal already cheating human beings. The human being pretending to be animal, making the animal sound to cheat another person. Already happening, scams happening long ago. Just that today the scams happen very fast, right? And the fire horse here, things happen even faster. That's about all. Whatever we face today, nothing new. Human beings have experienced this many thousand years ago. Of course, we don't know. We think it's new lah, but then it is not new lah. Okay, so in short, in the fire horse here, to survive without burnout, need to understand Yijing, which is about the direction of change and timing. And the art of war, we need to choose the battles wisely and win without fighting. Don't just go in and fight. And love intelligence, need to build trust, because that is the only currency. Okay. So this is what we have covered today. So now is actually your action plan. So I'd like to hear from you guys based on what we have covered so far for the last 50 minutes. What is, you have any question or anything you want to ask? If not, so I will go one by one and then ask you have any questions. If you have no question, then you have to tell me what is your action plan. What's the action plan, and then you can type or what. So one by one, So start from Ahmad. Because you came in late. So any questions you have or something you want to, let me pause the recording. Okay, just want to share, because I do have the coaching program lah. So I have this so-called the group coaching program is 2 to 5 persons. And then sometimes one person because the person didn't turn up. Anyway, it is 4 sessions once a week, each time 1 hour over a Zoom, $199 a month. And the program is in the attached. And then if they sign for this program at $199 a month, total is 3 months, but they can just go for 1 month. Because 1 month is good enough for some people. And then, of course, 3 months is cheaper. But anyway, they will get the 6 books at $99. I've written total 11 books. You can pick which book you want. If you don't want the Chinese book, then there are 10 books. So the other option is if you already have not got my books, you can get my book. 1 book, 35, 2 is $39.90 and 3 is $49.50. All these are very well numbers. Just in case. So I have a total 10 books. You can pick which books you want. But if you talk about today we are talking about Love Intelligence, this is the latest book, just came up very recently, just 2 weeks ago, and this is a new one. And then Decoding the Wealth Codes with Yijing, I came up this in 2024. It's talking about Yijing in 6 concepts and how they create the 12 types of wealth. Most people will think of wealth as financial, have the big house, big car. That is financial wealth. It's only number 7. There are 12 types of wealth. And Yijing has 6 concepts. Each of the 6 concepts can help us to build and sustain these 12 types of wealth. So that's what it meant by this thing. So very good. I thank you for the care you put in. And then the courage. Yeah, really appreciate your courage. I think for just now, Vincent, you asked questions there. Those are very good. You raise those things, and then I really appreciate them because some people would not want to share those things. Important thing is that every time you come across something, it's actually building a deeper connection with yourself. It's actually something that you would keep for a long, long time. So at the end of the day, people burn out because they're capable people. If they're not capable, they wouldn't burn out. Right? And what we are talking about is more about thinking. In the AI world, thinking is the most important thing. Don't go around learning the latest AI tools. Instead, ask yourself, AI is just a mirror. Whatever you give them, they will bounce back to you. They're using the whole world's data, right? It's just a big mirror. So you want to improve your thinking and know how to evaluate AI. That means do not just take a copy and paste, but think about it and challenge the thinking. In fact, AI is very good for thinking. You ask them questions, they answer, then you ask them further, you probe thinking. It is in the past, people would need to do some kind of thing called what do you call it, brainstorming. Today, don't waste time. AI is a better brainstorming tool. So AI can really help us in thinking. That is the thing I want to talk about, basically. Okay.